welcome back to my channel. It's time for another Paletteful Packs unboxing and artwork. This is the September box. I will have all the information for the box and the products listed in the description down below in case you're interested, but we're just going to jump right in. And the first thing I see here is this 6-well paint tray, and it says it is suitable for water-based media. It is sturdy, round, has smooth, easy to clean surfaces, and it's got 10 wells, and this retails for $1.09. So the prices are in US currency, so convert that to whatever currency you have. The next thing I see is this General's Kneaded Eraser, and this is just a regular kneaded eraser, so this is one that you're going to have to like squish up, and I have a couple here that I use, and they're really great erasers, and I do really enjoy them. So I'll keep this one off to the side, and this retails for $1.30. The next thing I see here is this Derwent Graphite 2H pencil, and it says it's a graphite pencil designed for designers and draftspeople. They are made with high quality Cumberland graphite and the purest clays to produce a smooth texture, and this retails for $2.06. The next thing I see here are these two brushes. This one is the Robert Simmons brush. This is a professional artist brush that allows for control in painting and has enough resilience to perform perfectly every time. Robert Simmons brushes are guaranteed for life, just as they were when Robert Simmons introduced them in 1972. And this one retails for $8. And it feels like it would be a pretty good brush for water-based media because it is fairly soft. It's not too stiff of a brush, so I kind of like that. We'll try that out and see how that works. And the other brush that they gave us is this Princeton Select Flat Wash brush, and this is a 3/4 brush. Oh, and this one was a number 5. I'm not sure how they number theirs, but it says it's a 5 here, and then it also says it's an E85 round. Then this is the Princeton Select Flat Wash 3/4 brush. This high quality short handle brush is wonderful at holding water and is made to last. It will be a great addition to your brush collection as they go above and beyond many other brushes on the market. And this one retails for $13.50. And this is a fairly nice big brush for doing some flat washes. So I appreciate getting these because sometimes those bigger brushes are a little bit more pricey. The next thing I see here is this Legion Aqua Mini paper pad, and this is mine is cold pressed, but while I'm looking at the list of items that they've given us, it says that it's supposed to be hot pressed, but it's interesting that mine is a cold pressed. So it says for the hot press, it's 100% cotton. This one is also 100% cotton. It's 140 pounds paper, and it is ideal for watercolor, and it retails for $1.99. So the only difference here is the cold pressed would be a little bit more textured. And I've actually got one of the Stonehenge Aqua hot press that I've gotten from another box before. So you can see the difference. The hot press is sort of like a pinky red, and this one is a blue. But if you look at the difference here, I'm not sure why my hot press one has a lot more paper than this one does. I don't think this is the 300-pound cold pressed paper. No, that is super thin. Is this even the cold pressed one? Because this one, these ones are a little bit thicker, like you can feel. So I don't know if this is 140-pound paper. You know what? I think I have one of these too, so let me go find that one. Okay, so here's my Stonehenge Aqua cold pressed, and this is really interesting because this is definitely 140 pounds. Like you can tell this is much thicker paper. I don't know if you can see there's a little bit more texture on this pad. But this one, when I open it up, it is definitely not that thick. You can hear by the noise that the paper makes, and there is like no texture on this at all. I think this actually seems like they're just their regular paper. Like they have sort of a smooth like drawing paper, and I'm pretty sure that's what this one is, but it's definitely labeled as the cold pressed. But I hope you guys can see the difference. So That's really interesting. And even the size difference there. And I've used a couple of sheets out of the cold pressed one too, and it's still significantly bigger. So I'm not sure what one this is, and I would be interested to know if anybody else had some discrepancies with their pad of paper, but I'm pretty sure this is just their regular like Stonehenge like drawing paper. So the next thing I see, and our big item for the month, is this Holbein Acrylic Gouache set. And it says, Acrylic Wash brings the best of both gouache and acrylic paint together. It moves, reacts, blends, and feels like traditional gouache. However, Holbein Acrylic Wash is water resistant once dry, drying to a velvet matte finish. Holbein Acrylic Wash does not shift in color tone from liquid to dry color, which is interesting because regular gouache does. What you see wet is what you get once dry. Holbein Acrylic Wash does not have the same fragile surface as traditional gouache and is compatible with all other water-soluble media. The medium is very popular with professional illustrators, and this retails for $21.25. And we get carmine, lemon yellow, sky blue, and black and white. And I do appreciate that they gave us black and white in here. But I'll be interested to see how these two mix, because if you guys know me by now, I like my purples. So I'm definitely going to try to make some sort of purple out of these. But it looks like they might mix okay, because this seems like it might be a little bit of a cooler red, so it might lean a little more purple. We'll see. But that's interesting, and they're pretty good size. We get 12 mils here. And let's just take one out. So let's take this blue one out and see if it's got any light fast information or anything. Okay, it's got the pigment number, so it's PB15. We've got some black bars here, so I'm assuming maybe that's opaqueness to it. Or maybe that's how they rate their light fast. What does it say on the back here? Nothing. Anything in here? No. So I'm not sure if that's light fast or not, but I mean, you could look up PB15, and I would assume the pigment that they're using, just the general information on that pigment, should be good. Now, I've heard Holbein is a pretty good company, and they do have a lot of light fast products out there. You know, do your own research in that. And the last thing I have here, and I say the last thing because you'll notice I don't have a sticker this month. So I'm a little sad about that, because I do love collecting the stickers from Paletteful and Smart Art boxes. But that's okay. The last thing we have here are these Crescent watercolor boards, and it says, whether you like to create in a studio or plein air, these rigid pre-mounted boards are ideal because they don't require an easel or additional support. The high quality, cold pressed, lightly textured surface is great for watercolor, gouache, watercolor pencil, and ink. The 100% rag pH neutral surface responds well to both wet on wet and dry brush techniques and holds stroke shapes without feathering. Extra boards stay clean and safe in resealable bags, ready for your next inspiration. And this retails for $12.57. So that's pretty cool. And as you can see here, they are pretty thick, actually. And the texture seems like it's a pretty smooth texture as well. Let's just take one out and look at it. So it's lightly textured. And I would say this would be good for watercolor pencils if you're blending them out. Maybe not colored pencils, because there is still some ridges in the paper here. Now, maybe if you were using OMS or something like that. But these are pretty nice, like really thick boards. So I think I might actually use one of these and try it out with our artwork this month. Okay, well, that took me way longer than it should have to get that back into that bag, but that's all the items that came in this month's box. So I think we'll go ahead and just jump right into the artwork, and I'll let you know what I think about these products. So the prompts for this month were fantasy, dinner, library, and cottage. And at first I thought I was going to do some sort of fantasy scene. I was thinking, because it's Halloween, you know, maybe we'll do a witch with a cauldron or some kind of pumpkin scene. But when I was looking for reference photos, I ended up coming across this really pretty landscape with a cottage photo. So I thought, you know what, let's give this one a try and really see how the products work. I used the Derwent 2B pencil to sketch out my design, and I sketched right onto the watercolor board here. and it was soft enough so that if I needed to erase any areas, it had no problems erasing. So that was a great pencil to give us for this month. Now, with acrylic gouache, they are permanent once they've dried onto your surface, and you're going to see me struggling with the sky a little bit at the beginning, because what I wanted to do was create a gradient going from light to dark in the sky, and then I was going to try to lift some clouds up, and you'll see me sort of scrubbing at the sky and scrubbing at the board a little bit and trying to, lift that up with some paper towel, and then I realized, oh yeah, that's not going to lift up at all. So then I decided just to do another wash of blue over top of it to try to cover it up, and it actually handled that really well. This board could handle some scrubbing on it, and it handled the color being laid right back over it, and there's only a tiny spot where you can see it ever so lightly that I was trying to scrub off some color. So I was quite impressed with how the board and the gouache handled that. The brushes that we got this month also performed really well. I used that flat brush, that 3/4 Princeton flat wash brush, for most of this picture, and I actually really liked how it performed. I also really liked how the Robert Simmons brush did, and I used that for a lot of the more smaller detailed areas. And the only time I had to pull out a different brush was when I was doing the siding on the cottage. I pulled out a nice little liner brush. I probably could have done the Robert Simmons one for that, but it just didn't come to a fine enough point for me to get that job done. I also have to say I was pleasantly surprised with the Crescent watercolor board. This board performed really well, whether I was scrubbing on top of it or laying down some very wet washes and then laying some color into those washes, glazing over them. This board just took it all. And as you can see with the hill in the background and the grass in the foreground, I was able to get some really nice wet and wet washes down where I'd put a color down and then put some darker colors and some lighter colors in and let them blend together. And I don't know if it was the paint or the board, but they moved enough to blend, but not so much to cause trouble. So I really liked that about this board. Now, going back to the acrylic gouache, the colors were very vibrant. They laid down very vibrant on top of the board. I didn't really notice a color shift, and it did say that they would dry the same color as when wet, and I think that is true. I really liked the opaque gouache aspect of them, and you'll see when I'm doing the little trees and the bigger tree, I sort of lay down some color and then I can layer on top some lighter color and then some darker color to get some variation within the trees, and I really had a lot of fun doing that, and that's because the colors were just so opaque. And I really had a lot of fun just layering the colors up and even doing some glazes over top. So in the background mountain area, you'll see I lay the colors down first and then I glaze over a little bit of a warmer color over top of them, and they glazed just beautifully. I think the only item in the box that I didn't end up using was that Legion mini paper pad. And I'm sorry, but I have to say that paper pad lies. It is not hot pressed, and the front of the paper says that it's cold pressed. It's not either of those. I'm really curious if anybody got this box down below. Let me know, did you actually get the hot pressed, or did you actually get a cold pressed, or did you get a mystery pad like I did? But thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this. If you did, please give a like and subscribe to my channel. It really helps me out. And as always, I will catch you in the next one. Bye!